Hey there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Nathan Fox, one of the founders of lsatdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. With me today is Josh Mansfield, a teacher with the Demon. We have an email here from Kelsey, who's asking about D1 athletics, GPA, and law school admissions.
Hello, trying to figure out a target LSAT score that can give me a shot at the T14s. I haven't taken a fully timed PT yet, but based on the shortened practice exams, it should be around a 158 to 162-ish. Who really knows, though? The real issue is my GPA. I currently have a 3.45. I spent my first 2 years as a STEM D1 athlete whose focus was athletics, but I was injured a majority of that time with a brutal long-term injury. While that may seem easier than playing, at my program, it meant watching practices with the team, attending all film and meeting events with the team, going in solo for at least 1.5 hours a day for rehab and treatment, and extra solo lifting sessions on top of the allotted NCAA hours. I ended up quitting after my spring junior year when it looked like I might never get back to full health. The semester since then, I've gotten A's and A's pluses from a top 10 public school. I plan on doing the same for the next semester, but I know that's a small sample size compared to the first 2 years. How does participating in athletics / being injured mean to admissions? Should I write a GPA addendum? I know cumulative GPA trumps upward trend, but is my situation unique enough that I should point it out? I also switched majors, something I genuinely cared about, which helped. Given all that, what should my target LSAT range be to give myself a chance at a T14? My goal is big law. Thanks, Kelsey.
I mean, your target LSAT is as high as you can possibly get. Go to lsatdemon.com/scholarships and play around with the numbers. I mean, I'll do that right now. Everybody out there, you can do this research yourself. I'm putting in Kelsey's 3.45. How much longer does Kelsey have in school? Does it say?
It seems so. She quit her junior year, the semester since. So one year to one to 3 semesters, somewhere in there.
Let's say Kelsey bumps it up to a 3.55.
Okay,
that's a little generous, but
I mean, if she has 3 semesters of straight A's and A pluses, I definitely doable.
3.55, let's say. I mean, you want that number as high as you can. Before you even think about the LSAT, you want that number as high as you can if you're serious about the top 14, if you're serious about big law. And I think 170 is the number for those schools. I mean, I just can't imagine thinking that you're going to be a legitimate contender at the top 14 without a 170.
Certainly not.
Of course, I know that there is X percentage of the classes at all those schools that are below a 170, but it's, that's around their 25th percentile. So it's like 3 out of 4 students are going to have higher than that. So inputting the 3.55 and the 170 into the scholarship estimator. Yeah. I mean, I'm just not seeing a lot of like generous offers from any of the schools in the top 14. Of course, WashU, 14th in the country, says that it's more than half scholarship because that's a school that does extremely heavy discounting and it's also extremely splitter friendly. But a 170 is low for WashU. Your GPA is like, you have no chance. You're not going to get to their median of 3.96. But you can get your LSAT up above their 173 median. So you might get in, you might get partial scholarships with a 170, but I would think that that's kind of the minimum price of admission to be any kind of a serious contender at the T14. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Higher would definitely be better, obviously. And I think there's a couple things here that you have going for you. If you go higher, this Kelsey is a one that we have said might qualify for a 2-line GPA addendum. After I stopped with X athletics, my GPA since then has been a 4.28, right? Great. Like great GPA addendum. That's fine. And you pair that with a really high LSAT. The LSAT helps them stomach the fact that they're going to take a hit to their, that they have to compensate for you on the GPA side for their medians, but you demonstrate, hey, listen, I really do have the horsepower for this program, and that's going to do you a favor. But again, I think above a 170, you just got. I really do think it's going to probably have to be higher. The other thing I would tell Kelsey is go ask your school if you can drop some of those bad classes. Can you bring in your medical records and say, listen, Can I get these classes just completely removed from my transcript? And if they're mandatory, say, I'll go retake them, but the LSAC is going to count both of them unless we completely remove them.
Yeah, or change
Can
them
I
to
just get
pass,
them
no
medically?
pass.
Yeah, can you get them pass, no pass with a medical exemption of some sort?
Yeah.
Go talk to your school, and especially for a former athlete, like you really got a chance that they might make some changes for you, and that is going to do more for your GPA than anything, because it's going to get rid of bad grades. Those 4.3s become worth way more. I mean, you could rehabilitate your GPA up to, I don't know how many bad grades you have to drop off, but if you could drop several of them, who knows?
If you're serious about the T14 and if you're serious about Big Law, then yeah, you should be willing to jump through those hoops, even if you know that there's a chance that you might get no help whatsoever. You should still petition to try to get those bad grades changed to passes. You should try to work your contacts in the athletic department potentially to see if they can help you get those grades removed or changed to passes. Then you want to continue getting A's and A pluses for the rest of your career. You also want to try to get a 170 something to get into the T14. What do you think, Josh? I have thoughts, but what do you think about the switching from STEM and or the switching out of athletics part of a GPA addendum? What kind of an argument would you make?
I mentioned it. The only thing I might say, if I wouldn't talk about the switching of degrees, I don't think that helps you. If you said, I withdrew from the X team, let's say it's, the volleyball team. I withdrew from the volleyball team at the end of my sophomore year, and my grades have been a 4.28 since. I'm typically of the opinion that giving the reason why your grades changed often looks like an excuse. But in this case, if you say, yeah, I stepped away from sports and got a 4.28. And then if you get an interview and they go, well, why'd you step away from sports? Because I was serious about law school and I realized that I wasn't managing both effectively, and I wanted to be really successful at what I did. And now I'm a 4.3
because I catastrophically exploded both of my knees.
Yeah. And I had no future in that, and I wasn't doing both well, and so I decided to do the one better. It's not like a law school is going to go, oh man, we're real worried that she's going to play D1 volleyball while she's in law school and hurt her GPA again.
Yeah. I guess the thing I was thinking is that I would pick one excuse instead of two.
Yes. Yep.
One excuse is better than two. Because if you try to come in with like, well, I switched out of STEM and also this athletic story, it's like the water just gets muddier and muddier. You want to focus on that increasing grade trend. And if you can give them one reason why the grades increased, I think you could pick either one here. You could say, oh, well, when I switched out of STEM, I've gotten nothing but A's and A pluses, and I know that I'm on the right path now. You could also say, once I stopped the crazy D1 athletics obligations, I have A's and A pluses now. I think either one of those would work fine, but not both.
Not both. Yeah.
For me.
I don't know. I guess switching majors to me sounds like it sounds more of a cop out than the D1 athletics. Like
potentially. I mean,
yeah. I switched to psychology because I wasn't cutting it in biochem. Like,
it's also so common though.
It is true. That's true.
They know what that looks like, right? There's a million kids who start off as bio majors.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to med school, and they're like, oh, well, you're going to take really hard calculus and really hard chemistry and a bunch of other really hard science classes. And oops, let me reconfigure. So they know what that looks like, and I think that's a story that they can believe. And then they're going to just like make sure that you're focusing mostly on, right? We're only talking about like 2 sentences because you want them to focus on the A's and the A pluses. But you could also go with the athletic story, and maybe that is a better story.
Let me offer you one other counterpoint as to why I think the athletics are a better story. Kelsey's still going to be competing against applicants who did stick to their STEM major and are applying with a 3.8.
True.
And so if you had a choice between the student who's a 3.8 STEM major who got their degree in biology, or the one who has a 3.45, 3.55 now writing an addendum because she switched majors.
Yeah.
Pretty impressed by that 3.8 kid. So,
but but don't like this. Kelsey went on a little bit here. And for me, I don't need you to tell me about the extra solo lifting sessions,
No.
attending the films and the meetings and whatever. Just say, I played competitive D1 until I exploded my back. And once I quit the D1 athletics, I now have A's and A pluses.
Yep, that's perfect. I agree with that.
Okay, let's leave it there. Thank you, Kelsey, for writing in. Good luck. You want to keep up those grades, bump up that GPA if you can, and you definitely need the 170 something LSAT. Higher the better for T14 and Big Law.
Yeah.
Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you would like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.